that came to mind while listening to the Bible. I listen to the Bible, and then I listen to frequencies underneath that. So it helps me to concentrate and yield the most I can under the right frequencies. But there's something I had came across, and what it is that when Jesus said the sower came along the road and was throwing the seeds everywhere, and when he threw the seeds everywhere, some of it landed on the road, which is likened to the soil of the heart of man, right? So this soil was hard. It was rocky, even hard-hearted. They didn't even hear it. The first thing they said, they didn't believe it. And who came and took it? Satan, which confirms it being what we already know it to be. Then, as far as the devil being the negativity, the doubt, the fear in your mind. Second, likewise, just like those who were on the actual road of the rock-hardedness, there was others who had shallow. Now, you think of a road, it's flat, then it gets a little shallow. So a little bit has a little bit of soil, a little bit. And they was like, they took it with joy and shot up, but they were still hard-hearted. They didn't allow it to go deep into their hearts. So their roots were low. They didn't have any root. It didn't go deep into them. They weren't getting the sense of it deep down in their heart. As far as attacking many different things with the thought process of God in them. So when trials came, it never really got to them the way it's supposed to, and they had no standing. So they got thrown over when trials and tribulations came. Now, you have those just at the line. Now they're close because they have the desire of all these other things that the world provides. And those ones didn't allow the love of God. They closed off the love of God to receive the things and all the material things of this world, and it caused it to choke. So these material things, they wanted it, but they didn't apply it in their heart deep enough, or close off these areas, be willing to walk away from an opportunity that would make them more money, and instead it choked them up and stopped them from having more with God. It's true, we do need money, but it ain't everything. So I had to be careful, step away from that. I was one of those people who was close to that. Alright? And then you have those who are willing to sacrifice whatever it took to gain the wisdom from God. Which that evidently is what I ended up doing. But I still needed a way to support myself. And being, a truck driver gave me the time to mentally mull over these things and using that time wisely. So I'm not jumping from pillar to post in jobs. There's no reason for me to be out here if I didn't do these things. So I'm doing these things, so I'm allowed to be out here. And I grew. That was the 30%. 60%, I allowed it to get deep in my heart. And this is for everyone. This is, I see how it worked in my life, but this is for others in their life and what they had to do. But then, it overcame. I overcame deeper issues within myself. And in that, I got my 60 and even 100 times more in gaining deeper understandings and re-sowing the seeds that, or the confirmations. So we get confirmation from God that this is what it was. And if we re-sow it, then what happens? It goes even deeper. to the point where we're able to do a lot more for God in a larger way. As far as, you know, having Holy Spirit, understanding that the universe that correlates with our life. You know, correlates into the things that we hear and do. Likewise, to let you know in confirmation, real talk, that the next thing that he said, I'm looking at Mark, and I believe it was what, Mark 5? Let's see. It was Mark 4. So in Mark 4, you know, he speaks of these things, and the very next thing that he said was, pay attention to how you listen. Because what you are measuring out will come back to you. What does that mean? That means if you listen for the positive comes back. If you listen for the negative comes back. Pay attention to how you listen. So if you don't listen to it, it doesn't go into your internal matrix. And therefore, the environment in the universe does not give it back to you. That is what he was saying. And that's 100 times more. Because you can use these things and doing God's will and still be able to get stuff like Solomon did. Was able to get these things and also relate all things that he had gotten to God's glory and giving him obedience and obeying those things as well. So obeying the principles. So you know that he is God, that he is with God for real. Solomon and myself, and anyone else who's living life like that. For all to see that is in us all. That is our obligation to God. Obedience. You know, it goes deep as far as the seeds going deep into your heart and it resonating in your life around you, coming back to you as confirmation. Alright, so with these things being said, I'm going to call it and leave it here. Alright? Y'all hold it down.